top 5 things that I wish I knew when I was starting my own online business. For those of you that don't know, my name is Sherilyn and I'm a content and confidence coach. I specialize in helping women to release their inner queen of confidence and tackle the world of social media with ease. This wasn't always the case, so if any of you haven't yet tuned into my previous video that talks all about my job working in corporate and how I transitioned from working in corporate to running my own online business, then you're more than welcome to check it out. But I'm going to be talking to you today about my top 5 things that I wish I knew when I was starting this online business. Now, there's some of these things that I actually knew without realizing. Some of these things that I actually acted on before I actually was told or had a toolkit. So what I want to do for you today is, if you are someone that is kind of on the verge of wanting to start your own thing, if you have this vision and this idea that you would love to create your own online business or start branding or, you know, work in a different arena to what you're working at the moment, first of all, I want you to know that it's totally possible. I used to sit at my desk and just dream about the day that I'd be able to run my own online business, you know, record YouTube videos whenever I wanted to, and be able to have that creative freedom that I do have now, plus the location independence. So I want you to know first and foremost that that is totally possible for you. I guess it's all just about being able to figure out what your skills are, figure out how you can use those skills and maximize those, and also offer that to an online audience as opposed to in person. Now, of course, I am a social person, so I will always do things in person as well, but it just means that the main core of my business I can actually run online, and I don't necessarily need to be in front of the person in order to get the job done. I'm going to do another YouTube video all about different ways that you can work online, some ideas, and just people that I've crossed paths with that I know have been able to create the same kind of style of lifestyle, but they have just done, you know, different businesses and gone down different routes, and that's totally okay. The number one thing I want to talk to you about today is personal branding. Now, you will hear buzzwords all over social media, all over the internet, all over your accounts, talking about branding, strategy, niche, all of these buzzwords, right, in the content creation, social media realm. All I want you to know is that personal branding is ultimately being yourself. It's almost like you've got you, and everyone who knows you knows you. Everybody who knows you knows who you are, knows what kind of character you are, knows, you know, the things that make you tick, the things that make you excited, the things that you love to talk about all day long, the things that you don't like so much. But that's what people in your world know. Now, this isn't to say that every single person online needs to know every single thing about you, but you can just strategically create a brand that allows people to know the things about you that are actually going to help you navigate towards the bigger goal. So, for example, with me, I was always dead set on my personal brand being about travel, freedom, confidence, self-belief. And even before I was officially personal branding, I was already branding myself as that person online. I always talked about, you know, personal development. I always talked about books that I was reading. I always talked about adventures that I went on, travels that I went on. And I actually started building a community way before I started an online business. I didn't know what I was going to do with the community. I still haven't done anything with this community, but it's a safe space for people to talk about all things travel, to get tips, to get ideas, to get focused, and to be able to kind of bounce off each other with their inspiration when it comes to their trips. Now that I'm in a position, I am an entrepreneur and that I work for myself, the great news is that I've already got this warm audience of people that are totally invested in travel, and I'm beyond invested in travel. So that means that when I do start to lean more into the travel space, I've already got the audience there, much the same as people on my social media that I was talking to about personal development and reading and books and development and confidence and growth. They were already hidden in little nuggets of my audience and already getting the signs that that was the kind of thing that I love to talk about. So of course, when I then started to combine my growth with social media and content strategy with confidence, it meant that there were already an audience that were engaged. There were already a group of people that were like, I like that she's actually doing something with that now, because I've always followed along, love what she talked about, now there's somewhere for this to go. So if you're someone who isn't really active on social media and you don't really know what you want your business to like, just have a look in your head and think in 5 years' time. Have a think about, would you want to create something online? Would you really want to create something and brand something and have a movement of some sort? We don't know what it's going to look like at this point, but would that be something that you would like to do? If the answer is yes, start creating something. It doesn't have to be something that you put your face at the forefront of right from the get-go. It could just be a safe space to say, hey, you know, I know that there's lots of mums on social media who probably don't know how to navigate children and social media as they get older and screen time. How about we create a community that's all about that? And then you get lots of tips in there, you get lots of hacks and, you know, ideas, and you're able to get people to share their experiences. And then what you can do off the back of that later down the line is you can then think, well, actually, I've got all of this data, I've got all of this information, I know what people are talking about in this space. How can I help more people that probably don't have access to this community? How can I help more people in targeted ways that are going to support them directly for their needs? So you don't necessarily have to know what the end goal is going to be right now, but you can start something today that ultimately is going to be sort of warming up your network and warming up the people in your audience and attracting people that aren't in your audience yet. And the great news is when you already start to create something, when you're already building a brand, when you're already doing something, even if you decide that actually this product that I was selling or this service that I was selling, that isn't what I want to do long term. That was great for that season, it was great for that time in my life, but however, I want to transition things a little bit. And what I notice is sometimes if people launch businesses that are very product focused or service focused, they will lean very much into that, and that's great. But what's going to allow people to really connect with you as a person and also be able to follow you as you transition into new business ideas or networks or different, you know, services or products that you might offer is the personal brand. You're the person that is going to allow them to say, right, okay, that was a great product for me. She's now doing this. I love the experience that I had with her before. And actually that is something that I also need. So having a personal brand allows people to transition with you. If you focus purely on the product or the service, then if you decide actually that service doesn't define me, that service isn't what I want to do anymore, then it just means it's going to be that little bit harder to start to move people over to where you are. Whereas you have that common theme and that common brand underneath, and this is something that I talk very heavily about my clients with, on how to brand. Even if you're marketing this product here, how can we brand over here? How can we make sure that we're able to attract a nice group of people so that we're going to get multiple people dropping through that funnel? And also it means that there's room for transition if you decide to change your mind later on. Now, you might have noticed, if you watch Dragon's Den, you might have noticed that sometimes in the den, the dragons will say, I really want to invest in you. I really want to invest in you. I love you. I like what you offer. I like your passion. And that is something that I've noticed a lot in the online space. Sometimes, depending on how you've branded yourself, how well you've marketed yourself, how open you are at promoting yourself, people want to invest in you. And it doesn't necessarily matter, you know, what the service is, what the product is, because if they like what you as a brand and you as a person and identity, then it means that if you have something that they are like, oh, actually, that's something that I need, you're going to be the top of mind, you're going to be the go-to person that they actually get that from. So just keep in mind, when you are someone who is building something or wants to build something from the ground up, you can start today and already start to build that personal brand. Even if you work on behalf of other clients and you're kind of behind the scenes on their businesses, you having your own identity is going to be really key, because you just never know how you can use that identity later on. So here's number 2. The second thing that I wish I'd known when starting this business was you've got to be in it for the long haul. You've got to be in it for the long haul. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of people, I'm sure you will have seen and heard, you might be that person yourself and this is your time to change, but you might think, right, I'm just going to put a time limit on this. If I don't achieve my goals in the next 2.5 months, then that's it, it didn't work for me. And when you are committing to anything, when you're committing to a brand, when you're committing to a business, when you're committing to a career, you've got to be in it for the long haul, because there isn't a time limit. There isn't a set, right, you must achieve it within this window, otherwise it's not going to happen. You never know how close you are to something. So if you are committing to starting something, whatever that's going to look like, even if it's just, I'm going to start this journey of branding. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to start branding myself. I'm going to start communicating. I'm going to start networking, but don't have a time limit. I don't think I'm going to network until I've spoken to 5 people and I've made 5 new connections, and then that's it, because, you know, beyond that, then it's a no from me. If you're doing this, do it for the long haul. And the reason that I bring this up is because I was talking to someone recently who said that she had an experience last year that she'd signed up for a course that was teaching her how to have her first 10k month. £10,000 month. So she signed up for this course but hadn't really done anything from the beginning. Hadn't hadn't done all of what I was just talking about before, the sort of pre-branding, the pre-working everything out, the building a community. So it meant that when she went into this course, she learned all the strategies. She knew exactly what she needed to do. She knew how to kind of build this network, how to connect with these people, how to do all of these things. But then she didn't have a 10K month, not even close, not even close. But then she kept doing it. She kept going and going and going. And a year later, she had her first 10K month. Now, just because somebody says to you, I'm going to teach you how to make a 10K month, I'm going to teach you how to build the business of your dreams, I'm going to teach you how to market effectively and bring in an endless flow of leads, doesn't mean I'm going to teach you that and you're going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to teach you that and a month later you're going to hit the jackpot. What it means is I'm going to teach you the strategies of what it takes in order for you to embed the systems, get everything into place to allow you and set your business up for achieving 10K months or achieving whatever it is that you've signed up for. So just because it doesn't work in that first month, just because it doesn't work in that second month, doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that it's going to take some momentum. It's going to take that work consistently over an extended period of time to get there. So try your best not to set time limits on your goals, because your goals, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, doesn't go by time. It doesn't fit to our schedule. It does what it wants to do when it wants to do. So what I would say is, if you are going to commit to this, do it for the long haul. Be okay with the fact that in the beginning it's probably nothing's going to happen in the beginning, especially if you've not got support. If you have no clear strategy, if you have no clear direction, trust me, it's going to take a lot longer. But you just have to promise yourself that actually this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do it whether people like it, whether people connect with me, whether I get good engagement, whether people disappear and everybody ghosts me. I'm going to just do it. That's the goal. So commit to this for the long haul, and I promise you, you will get rewarded. It might not be rewarded in the way that you think, because sometimes our vision doesn't always match up with our reality, but it can offer you so much more than what your vision can. And I'm speaking from someone who's had that from experience. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. So the third thing that I wish I had known is that you're never as cringy as you think you are. Now, I am the queen of cringe. I own it. I embrace it. I don't mind a bit of cringe. I don't mind embarrassing myself. And I think that comes a little bit from sort of like my performing arts background. You have to embarrass yourself. You go to auditions, you get things wrong, you know, you sing out of key, like all of that horrible stuff happens like in that period. So I feel like I'm totally okay with the cringe. But the interesting thing is that sometimes I feel that I am being quite cringy or embarrassing, putting myself out there, or oh, what are people gonna think? Are people gonna be screwing their faces up and going, oh God, not this again? You know, all of that, all of the same fears that you experience, I promise you I experience them as well. It's just that I still do it anyway. I still just go, you know what? Yes, it's gonna be cringe. Yes, it's gonna be awkward, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. But even if you feel that you are being the cringiest of cringe, you're stuttering over your words, you're embarrassing, people are kind of like side-eyeing you, whatever you think is going on, it's never as bad as you think it is. And some of the cringiest experiences or cringiest videos that I've created and thought, I'm not going to post that because I don't really think it's that great. I've just gone, you know what, I'm going to post it. So what? If no one likes it, I don't care. Like, it's okay. I can get over it. It's not going to kill me if somebody doesn't like my post or appreciate what I've shared today. And some of those really, really cringy posts and some of those really, really cringy, awkward things that I've said and are probably just a little bit outside the lines of what I usually would do, they are some of the most powerful pieces of content, and they're some of the content that have led me to meet new people, get collaborations. One of the really cringy pieces of content I created actually led me to getting paid for my content. I was given money, literally thousands of pounds, for a 6-second piece of content because I was just like, I'm just gonna be awkward and just be stupid and just post this. And then someone asked me if they could use it for advertising. I totally thought it was a scam. I was like, what the hell is this? I'm not giving them any bank details, I'm not doing this. Gave them my email address for PayPal and I got paid. So it just goes to show that sometimes we see ourselves so differently to how other people see ourselves. And if how you feel that you're being seen is the very thing that's stopping you from actually being seen, then the chances are you're missing out on some incredible opportunities. So that's one thing I would say. Make sure that you just embrace the cringe, and it never is as bad as you think it is. Trust me. I'm just gonna have a sip of tea. Okay, lesson number 4 of things that I wish I'd known are set boundaries early. And boundaries is something that makes me cringe because I don't like boundaries, or I say I don't like boundaries, I didn't like boundaries because I always felt that boundaries was a no. I always felt like boundaries was a way to close off opportunities, close the door, say no, be negative. I thought it was all those sort of negative connotations with boundaries. However, when I say set boundaries early on, I don't just mean with other people, I also mean with yourself. Because if you decide that you're going to start a business and you're going to work every single night, every single morning, every single weekend, and then people are going to say to you, oh, I need you to do this, can you get it done by tomorrow? Or, you know, clients, if they say, I need this done in the next 5 minutes, I need this done today, I'm going to call you, you know, at the crack of dawn, I'm going to call you late at night. Your clients might WhatsApp you, and you might want them to communicate to you on a different platform, and, you know, keep it professional, keep it emailed, but they might want to, you know, send you messages and send you pictures and content ideas and things like that in your WhatsApps. Then the problem with that is that if you don't set that boundary early on, it makes it really difficult to then repair that, because it becomes a habit. Everything that we do becomes a habit really easily. So if you decide that actually, yeah, you can message me whatever time of night, I'll always respond within 5 minutes. If, you know, I'm always going to work every single Sunday, I'm always going to work every single Saturday, every single evening. If you don't set those boundaries early on, it makes it really difficult. And I know it's really interesting because we've all, you know, at the beginning of this, it's very, very likely we've got full-time jobs. You know, you're working full-time, you're trying to fit in a social life, you're trying to keep fit, you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to run a side hustle. There's so many different things going on. But if you don't learn to set boundaries with yourself when all of that chaos is going on, then when you start to minimize that chaos, you're going to find it really difficult to shift that. So if you actually start to set boundaries even when the chaos is happening, and trust me, I know about the chaos, guys. I was literally living in London and doing the most, right? I made sure that I always had a day off, even if it would be a case of, right, I'm going to have Sundays off. Because I was working full time, I was working in the morning doing content, I was doing content in the evening, I was doing content on Saturdays, and then on Sunday I would try and have the day off. Now, it wouldn't always happen because sometimes there were things that would roll over and I'd have to get them done on a Sunday, but I always made sure I had the Sunday afternoon, evening off. So if it meant that, right, I'll get up early on Sunday, I'm going to do a little bit of whatever I need to do, get some housework done, and then from Sunday, 11 o'clock, for the rest of the day, I've got no work to do, no nothing. That's going to make all of this process so much easier, because what it means is it embeds that habit. So that actually when you do start working for yourself full time, that you know for a fact it's just a boundary that you always have Sunday afternoon and evenings off. You don't work Sunday afternoon and evenings. Even if you can, you've got all the time in the world. Someone says, please, can you message me this? Can you get this over to me by Sunday? You say, oh, well, I don't work on Sundays, but I can send it over to you on Monday morning. Done. Setting these boundaries is so incredible and so freeing and liberating for your soul. It means that you actually are able to kind of build up this energy that can then carry you through to the next week or the next season of your business. If you don't set boundaries and you're constantly running on this you know, hamster wheel, then it means that you're more likely to incur burnout, and then you're going to end up stopping in your tracks for 4 days because you need to recover and you're feeling all overwhelmed and everything gets on top of you. Whereas if you just set these little and often boundaries, it makes a massive difference. And it just means that when you then come into a position that you've got more time, you've got more freedom, you've actually created the life that you want, it is actually the life that you want, because you're not scatting around doing this, that and the other and doing a million things all at once and trying to be the people pleaser. So set those boundaries with yourself early on, but also set those boundaries with your clients, with your customers, with whoever it is. If you are a cake baker, if you are a personal trainer and you only work certain hours, be sure to stick to those certain hours. And I know it can be so hard because you think, oh, but I just need to get the money, I just need to do that. But if someone's training session needs to be at 11 o'clock at night and that just doesn't work for you, and it means that you're going to be absolutely shattered when you have your 5 o'clock in the morning client, and that's going to be the cycle that you set yourself up for, it's just going to make all of this a lot harder. So I would really recommend just embedding whatever those boundaries are for you. I would always start small with boundaries. Don't, you know, all of a sudden put the walls up, but little tiny boundaries, promises that you make to yourself, promises that you stick to. If a client says, oh, can you just then be sure to just set certain boundaries that don't affect your mental well-being. The fifth thing that I wish I'd known is to expect the unexpected. And this is really interesting because obviously it's unexpected, so we can't expect it. But all I would say is that we never know, and I mean this in a positive way and a negative way. Sometimes things will creep up that we are just not prepared for. Sometimes things will happen, you know, midweek, and it will mean that, oh my goodness, I was meant to have this call, I was meant to have this client thing, this has got cancelled, now this has moved around, or, you know, the power's gone down, the Wi-Fi's cut out, this, you know, anything can happen, guys, anything can happen. So all you can do is just be okay with the fact that everything isn't going to go to plan. And find ways to problem solve. And this is what so much of entrepreneurship is about. It's just finding problems and solving them. Right, okay, I've got no Wi-Fi, what can I do? Where's the local Starbucks? Okay, great. Right, give me half an hour, we'll have our meeting there. Whatever it is that you need to do, you just need to get a little bit used to sort of project managing your life. This is very, very different to being employed and going to the office and then things happening and then the boss say, right, you need to do that, you need to do that, you need to do that. This is you, this is all on you. You need to be the person that makes the judgment call and decides how this works. So be okay with the fact that things aren't always going to go to plan, but it's okay because you're always going to figure it out. And just expect things maybe not to go as smoothly as you would like them to go. If something doesn't go smooth, it doesn't mean it's not meant for you. It just means that there's going to be another way around it, another obstacle, another lesson, and something else that you can add to your toolkit of lessons in entrepreneurship. Also, expect the unexpected when it comes to positive things. You know, I talk about this in my goal setting workshop, actually, that there's so much in the middle magic. Now, the middle magic is the stuff that I like to call that happens when you are working towards this big goal. So you are here, the goal is there, and you're going to be going in that direction. Now, it's going to look a bit bumpy and rocky and it's going to go all over the place, but for the most part, you're going to be going in that direction and heading towards your goal. Now, all you can see is that tunnel vision focus because you think, right, this is where I am, this is where I want to be. Everything that I'm doing is getting me towards that big goal. But what you just can't plan for, what you can't expect, is the unexpected, the middle magic that will get you even closer to your goal. So on the way to my big goals, I met people, I came across opportunities that actually gave me another income stream, that actually gave me an opportunity to get on a bigger platform, that actually gave me an opportunity to feature on podcasts, to be a live speaker, to be a speaker on a panel, you know, all of these other things that in my plan I just could never have, you know, planned for because I didn't know how to pitch to get a space on a speaker slot, or I didn't know how to pitch to get this opportunity, or I didn't know how to connect with that person to get onto their podcast. So all of those things I could never have accounted for, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So be okay with the fact that things might come to you, especially as you're working towards this big goal. Things might come out of the woodworks that you might think, oh, but that's not quite what I was going for. But you can always add it in as well. There's so many things that you can do on the way to your big goals that will make your big goals feel even more fruitful and amazing and get you closer to them much quicker. So that would be all of my 5 things that I wish I'd known when I was starting my online business. Some of these things, thankfully, I was doing anyway without even realizing it, but I just wish that I had it all in one place so I could go, right, okay, these are the things that I need to make sure I'm doing. And when there's sort of problems or issues or opportunities or whatever comes up for you, it means that you're already then prepared for them because we're expecting the unexpected and we're expecting certain things to happen. So I hope that that was valuable for you. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you've got any questions, my inbox is always open, so connect with me on Instagram and let's have a chat there. Have an amazing day and I will speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.